has secured felony guilty pleas from the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance.
Actually, it's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Largest virtual.
Binance.
Binance. And let me be clear. It's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Council has discussed crypto regulations and legislations at length, and we have come to the conclusion that instead of regulating, we are going to ape a fat bag each into laptop and pump it to over $1 billion, 300 million, trillion market cap. Let's fucking go, crackheads.
And welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Morning Coffee. I got my coffee locked and loaded, ready to go, because we have to talk about Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is losing major support as we are speaking, which was at 92,000 US dollars per coin. But right now we are sitting just under 90,000 per coin. And that is looking very bearish, but only at the first glance. At the second glance, if we're looking a little bit behind the curtain, what is going on, who is buying, we might find some bullishness also in here, and also if we're looking into the technicals. And that's what we're going to do today, and then let's see how far we get together, but make sure to stay all the way through here. So, good morning to each and every one of you. And may I ask you kindly to smash up the like button right now once you're seeing this, if you have tuned in, even after the live stream, because it helps the live stream quite a bit, especially because I haven't been online since a while. So, looking at Bitcoin here, we have this major support level here, and you could argue, okay, maybe here at the wick, if it's only there, well, then we are still on it. Doesn't matter, the week is still 5 days, 18 hours, and we will see what's going on right now. But something really impressive happened, and that is when we are going to the Bitcoin office and we look at Nayib Bukele's buys. Usually we were used to look at the stairs there, right? So that some stairs and +1, +1, +1, +1 Bitcoin, and then sometimes there was nothing, and then sometimes there was suddenly 2 or 3 Bitcoin, right? But now, look at this massive spike. Apparently, El Salvador has accumulated in this dip 1,090 Bitcoin for 100 million US dollars, and just instead of just the regular DCA of 92,000 US dollars. So while people are fearful, El Salvador just made a major move, right? I think they've never bought that much Bitcoin at once, because I think this is basically a seventh of what they have total, right? Right now they have 7,500 Bitcoin. And they are well on their way to $1 billion, okay? Anyways, that was bullish, but then also looking at the price move here downwards, one thing sticks out, and that is if we're going into the CME futures, Bitcoin has just, with this move, closed the CME gap, okay? So here the CME gap, and we completely forgot about it, right? But CME gap was actually sitting at 92,000. And now obviously we've overshot it a little bit, but we have closed that one. And my theory in the beginning was, because when it was always open, that we might only come back in a bear market. Now that might be still true, as we could be obviously already in a bear market. but it would be, let's say the least, cycle-wise, timing-wise, as discussed yesterday, it would be reasonable to assume that. Fundamental-wise, not so much. Let's listen to some or read some voices out of the market, okay? So first of all, the market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient or the weak to the strong hands. Large BTC accumulation amidst the sell-off. So we do have our sell-off up here, right? And we do see here from CryptoQuant, the biggest Bitcoin accumulation is happening right in the middle of the market sell-off. Long-term capital is stepping in aggressively while short-term sentiment capitulates. Yeah. So it appears that retail is basically selling because of the supposed 4-year cycle end, but larger wallets, and we've seen El Salvador is one of them, just buy more, right? And we see, it's not really cohesive, right? But we do see more stacking. So usually we should see more outflows into a bear market, right? So that's the first argument. Then we have this: crypto holders seem demoralized by current prices. What is a spot price? The spot price is what someone is offering you to give them your asset right now. So El Salvador offered 90,000. There it is, right? By the way, I'm also accumulating again, just for transparency reasons. I'm also accumulating again, and if it drops lower, so be it, right? But I'm accumulating Bitcoin in the sub 100,000 range. In just the 8 years, Bitwise has been around in just the 8 years Bitwise has been around. People have offered 4,000, then 18,000, then 3,000, then 65,000, then 16,000, then 73,000, then 125,000, and now 89,000. To you to give them your Bitcoin. Don't like the price, don't take the price. Raoul Pal says, I want to put the current sell-off in perspective. BTC corrected in 2024, 32%, 2025, 32%, and right now is around 28%. This is normal. You've lived it before. Solana corrected 47%, 67%, and currently 48%. Sui corrected 69%, 79%, and 68%, and now 64%. Technicals are flamboyantly oversold. Sentiment is in the shitter too. Worst I've seen in this cycle. I would agree, because the fear and greed index has never been that low. And I think people are fearful that they've missed an opportunity, or that things didn't turn out as they wished because of altcoin season, right? That's why the sentiment is so bad, I think. But the funny thing is that altcoins are not that bad in the sell-off compared to what happens in the market. If we look at BTC dominance, we see that, look at this, the Bitcoin dominance, despite this massive Bitcoin correction, has only fallen from 60 to 58.9%. So you would assume that if Bitcoin falls in a bear market, that altcoins get completely wrecked and destroyed. I mean, of course, altcoins are correcting a little bit harder than Bitcoin does, but I mean, like if you look at this uptrend that happened, that's not much, right? This movement. So you would expect that there is there is in the fall of Bitcoin, that there's a hard upswing or so of Bitcoin dominance, so that altcoins get completely massacred, right? Something like this here, some spike like this here. but it doesn't seem like it, right? So seems like altcoins have been okay for now. I mean, still, if we look at the monthly, we see it also, right? I mean, on the monthly, we do have altcoins that are, ICP is up 90% on the monthly, Stark 65%, Zcash is on the tear, 176%, Uniswap 21% up. So there are a lot of altcoins that are in the green, especially in the top 100. We do have Zen, Soon, Mina, ZK, JST, Helium token in the green on a month. But overall, we also see like the monthly right now for altcoins is about 5 to 10% average in the negative. Whereas Bitcoin is, what's the exact number? Right now, almost 29% in the negative. That's unusual for the start of a bear market, wouldn't you agree? Very unusual, okay. Short-term holder supply and profit-loss ratio. That's the lowest ratio ever right now. So, short-term holders might be wrecked, but we will see, right? I mean, it's everything points to something is off, something is weird, and we've seen it before, right? This from Raoul Pal and Julian Bittel, as always. They constantly provide the update on the ISM. We did see a small uptick here, right? But it's very intriguing. So we do have ISM bottoms and tops. And when ISM is, and I would even say, forget the top and the bottom, but when ISM is trending higher and really trending higher, not just flat sideways, we get this out of Bitcoin. And here, for example, the 2016 to 17 or even 18 ISM, look at the top of the ISM and the sharp move, and look at the Bitcoin bull market that we had. And then look at this ISM move where ISM completely falls off during the pandemic lockdown, the first one. Then a money printer kicks in and everything gets printed out of the crisis like hell. And we get a very steep and sharp rise in the ISM. And we get this very steep and sharp rise also out of crypto at the same time, right? I mean, I think almost never we had a parabolic move like this, where in very short time the entire bull market happened. I mean, it's very steep. If it doesn't even come across like this in that picture, but here, look at this. The money printing comes in here. Yeah, the ISM comes out of the slump, and it basically from the 16th of March until the 12th of April of the next year, so one full year, this whole thing just goes parabolic. Because if you forget about this downswing, but if you just look at this, is upswing, bull flag, upswing, correct, and then boom, like it's just rocket launch, right? So the ISM sharpness of the rise apparently has correlation directly to how we are evolving on our crypto market, right? And also for the altcoins. Now, if we're looking at where we are now, I mean, we've seen a 7x out of Bitcoin with this. We barely, I mean, looks like a giga bottom or so, right? We've barely moved. If this, look from this level, we've touched the 1 level, which is here basically bear market territory in every other ISM, right? See it here? We've touched this once and got rejected downwards. That's where we are right now. Usually we should be up here somewhere at some point, right? For the ISM, or at least in this territory, right? So if we with this ISM upswings, we should be on the scale somewhere between 55 and 60, maybe even 65, right? And I'd say, okay, so if there is a correlation, and this correlation is very clear and it's driven by liquidity, as Raul points out, technically what we could have here for an absolute bear market is a crisis and crash like this, which then triggers a printer like this, right? So that would give us, like a 6-month, 8-month bear market? Of course, that can happen, right? That would be black swan. We can't predict black swans. We don't know what's going on, right, with that. And that can happen. But the other history is that we are slowly easing into get the ISM up, because, politics around the world has to get this ISM up, the business cycle up, because, we're this basically says, hey, we are in economic crisis since, I don't know, 3 years? This is why some people, including me, say we are basically in a recession since at least 3 years, potentially longer, basically since this goes down, right? So since 2021. But no, basically everyone, the parameters of recession have been kicked out. Yeah, no one wants to hear about recession anymore. Like in the Biden administration, the rule that 2 back-to-back negative GDP quarters are a recession have been rejected, right? So they said, yes, economic theory book-wise, yes, but this time, no. We're not in a recession, and then inflation is transitory, remember? So inflation is still makes bad numbers, right? Still 3%. Official, right? Hidden inflation probably almost 10%. I just now saw it. Came back from travel, business trips, and so on. I go to the supermarket, and many things are like just 10% higher, just out of nothing in price. So inflation is still around, but they don't have no other choice than expanding again. And this is what is happening in the 1st of December. The Fed is going to end quantitative tightening. So that's in 12 days. And then we will see how it expands. But fundamental-wise, you could argue, because these levels of the ISM are this in the crypto chart, right? Here, these are the bottom territory. So what if this is the bottom territory? Like, what if all of this is the bottom territory, and now during the next 1.5 years we are from wherever, right, after a crash, or it doesn't matter, we go on an absolute tear because the ISM is being lifted up by extensive monetary policy, right? So that's basically the theory. Smash up the like button if you support that. If not, let me know in the chat as well. Smash the down like button if you don't like it. And let's welcome some people, welcome some rare hodlers. Good morning to you, good morning to each and every one. We have Trucking Hank in the house. Thank you so much for the support. We have G-Money in the house. Thank you very much. Look at the badges, gold badge, diamond badge, whatever. We have a lot of supporters. We have Andre in the house as well. GMPH BTC is crazy, a bit of scary times. Absolutely, always when things go down, everything's scary. Absolutely. Vivi, Mewtwo, good morning to you. It's been a minute. Yeah, it's been a couple of days. Yesterday I was online as well. As I said before, I had to travel a lot. I had to deal with a lot of things, but I am not gone. I am back, and we will do as much as possible. We also welcome everyone else here. Jasper, Frank, good morning to you. Chrono, good to see you. Last Singurai, Divinder Singh, awesome. I don't know why, but I'm now reading your ads here because suddenly my streaming program is showing me the ad and not the name that you've given yourself. So sorry for that. Patrick, also good morning to you. Ricardo, you still think can get lower, even oversold? Bitcoin, yeah, sure. I mean, it's always possible. It's always possible, but I do think that at some point there is a turnaround coming. We could go as low as 80,000 in my opinion, where we would reach the next level of support. And on the week, yeah, we could go oversold on the weekly, absolutely. Which, by the way, only happens close to bear market bottoms, right? So we would, here we see it. There we go, right? Do we have an oversold on the monthly? No, not really. On the monthly, the lowest we ever had was in the last bear market at 40. Okay. So right now the RSI is only at 54. So we are very, very low already on the RSI. Interestingly also, or an interesting thing, is the stochastic RSI on the this downtrend that is going on here, right? On the stochastic RSI. So also here we might see, if we would see an even lower low, it would be really interesting, because we haven't seen that anyways in note, like this type of a bull market we haven't seen, right? We've seen this one, and we've seen this one with a turnaround. So every time somehow is different, right? And also here, right, the TSI is threatening a big fat cross right now, yeah, but it didn't reach its upper trend line for the first time. So I will still have to wait and see how the next 12 days turn out, because we could easily pump back to 100k, and then things look different, right? If we pump back on the month to 100,000, then you just have this thing with a long wick here, right, up here. So we can't really, I don't want to predict anything. And by the way, like, this whole prediction thing is like, everyone is wrong all the time. But why are we looking at it still? What we want to see is bear market, no bear market. What is the trend? How are people behaving in the market, right? I think just by observing and adapting, we are learning much, much more than anyone else, right? Just by being present in the market every day and seeing, okay, so the Fed does this and this happens to the price, but at the same time, these things are accumulating and this happens to the price. I think that is something that is really valuable, because you can then remember when there was rate hiking and this happened, now it's this way. I think the more time you spend with this, the more you'll learn, and the better you'll act in the market, right? I think that's the most important thing, why we have to police ourselves to be here all the time. We do have Sebas, good morning to you. With Chris Klein, hello sir, good morning, glad and grateful to be here, love this show, thank you very much. Patrick asks, do you think this support can hold? Yes, it can. Will it hold? That really depends. I mean, by the way, we did have, what was it? There were some economics coming in this week. I think there's something today. What was it? So we should have 2 days we get a lot of economic data. Yeah, in 2 days. So there's an FOMC meeting. And FOMC minutes on the 19th, tomorrow. We will have unemployment rate on the 20th of November. we will have housing numbers. Yeah, everything's tomorrow, like building permits, housing, and so on. And this is important because we just have to. So yesterday, the government shutdown ended. There is an FOMC meeting going on, I think today, and tomorrow or the next day there will be the number or the minutes, right? And I think after this government shutdown, these are more impactful, these numbers, because we didn't get numbers for 45 days straight. And there is the CME watch tool also, right? Where is why doesn't it? Oh, there was a problem with loading the tool. Let's try again. There we go. So for the rate cut, there is currently a 53% chance, almost 54, that the rate stays the same. And I think that this could shift. I mean, the next rate cut is still 22 days out, right? So this could shift still around, but this is the uncertainty, right, that I was talking about. So markets didn't get numbers, so they are going for uncertainty, right? Or they are uncertain, and that's what markets really hate. So everyone expected that this rate cut is guaranteed, and now it's not, so they're pricing it out, okay? But based on the numbers that we could get in the next days, this might shift towards, I think the rate cut is still on the table. Yes, the CME gap got filled here. CME gap was at 92 to 91,000, and it got filled. So we should, from a CME gap perspective, we should be good to turn around. By the way, guys, smash the like button if you support this channel. If you enjoy the show, then smash up the like button. That would be amazing. So let's see. I would expect that once uncertainty comes, the market gets less uncertain, more certainty comes here. And then I would expect the gold price to plummet. And by the way, look at the volume versus on the volume everywhere here. So gold absolutely on a tear. We said, or I said, gold top. Let's see, maybe not, right? We don't know. Depends on what happens. Maybe that's wrong. Who knows? But I would expect that once we get more certainty here, that we get at least a correction out of gold. Gold sitting at $4,000. That is now flipped into strong support, the 4,000 mark. But the RSI of gold looks like an altcoin in parabolic bull market, and that is sitting at 91.22, which is the highest RSI since about here, maybe even higher than this one, potentially the highest RSI since 1973. Okay, so yeah, gold went completely nuts. Gold went completely nuts, completely parabolic. We'll have our Stu prediction here, put them at the 8,000 level and see when we are reaching it. Yeah. But I think gold is in for a correction, and that money goes somewhere, right? And usually gold will only correct if the market goes a little bit more risk-affine, and that might happen over the next couple of weeks and months. We expect also the dollar to weaken after this technical backtest on previous support. We expect the dollar to weaken. This is the DXY. Sorry for everyone who didn't see that. And from there, we expect the dollar to go down, which usually coincides with bull market, right? So there are signs for the bull market temporarily ending, like the TSI, but there are also a lot of signs for the bull market to still be on, right? By the way, we do see S&P 500 is also a little bit weak at the moment, as we're seeing the tech slump going on a little bit. By the way, looking at the news, what sticks out is India's goods trade deficit. But look at this. Two of the main news is gold and Bitcoin, right? So the rich are renting out their idle gold bars for income as prices remain at historic highs. And Bitcoin bear market could deepen further as liquidity worries take hold. So you have gold and Bitcoin back to back on the news. Shows the importance, right? But there are still people out there that say, yeah, Bitcoin will go to zero, blah, 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 right? It's interesting. It's interesting what is on the news. Like I like to look at what is dominating the narrative, because it's still, most people are not everyone, let's put it that way, not everyone is looking at Twitter. Many people are consuming what is on the news, and what is the biggest headline determines what they are talking about in their daily life and what they think is relevant at the moment, right? And so that means people are looking at, from an economic perspective, that are reading the CNBC, they are looking at India's goods trade deficit, which is shattering records, beating estimates, and gold imports surged 200%. Even in this headline, gold is the dominant story, right? So it's gold, and Bitcoin. That is the main headline of economic news right now, yeah. And the markets are red. Asia Pacific market fall, tracking Wall Street declines and tech losses and AI jitters. Okay, so the quick links even: Asia market move, US futures hodl BTC question mark, soybean mountain sports entrepreneurs, and so on. Very, very interesting in my opinion, guys. With that, today there's no altcoins and so on. Today I have to leave you with that. But I hope you enjoyed it for today. If so, smash up the like button, subscribe to the channel. Notifications on. There will be more Crypto Morning Coffee live streams coming in the next days, weeks, months. And wherever you are on the world, have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon. And I see you in the next video or live stream. Have a good one, and bye.